Hey, welcome back, YouTubers. Well, this is the year for the cranks. Here before you, we have a '05 Kawasaki Brute Force 750. And as you can see here, it works. Actually not very good, but it works. This one here, ooh, the crank turns. Yeah. Bad crank. Again. Here's the next one. We're going, and the only reason I'm going to be tearing into this one, which I don't really like to do when I already got one tore down already have one completely tore down, is that I'm going to try to give it to a fella to see if he can redo the cranks. Well, if he cannot redo the cranks, then I got to look for a crank. So, yeah, I'm going to have two tore down at the same time. I do not like doing this, but you know, I'm just thinking I might just wait. I hate to do this, but I want to try to get, if whatever crank, if you can't get that one to work, then maybe this one will work, and just to see if that's the best way to go. I need to figure it out so then I can start looking for a crank. So unfortunately, the only way to do that is to tear this down and to see if he can fix it. If he can't, if he can, then great. Now I'll put it all back together. Hey, nothing lost. If he can't, then I gotta look for a crank. Now, if for some reason he can't do the Arctic Cat, I'm gonna have to look for a crank, so it might take some time. I got it tore down over there. So, being said, trying to keep going forward. Let's pull this out, and I'm going to take it apart, get the crank out, take it to him, see if he can fix it, and get things going. You can, great. Put this back together. Or can't. Now, so that's where we're at. This is the next one. I do have things on the Arctic Cat to fix. I'm going to start doing that what I can in the meantime, because actually I do not need I can put everything on here and put this engine back together. So I might think about doing that. Then again, I might not. We'll see. I might just leave it off. It's going to be probably easier to put it back on here. So yeah, this is a mess, isn't it? So I need to get this thing going, get her back together, get her going. Alright, so well, I just want to bring you up to date what's going on, and I'll pull you back on when find out what's going on. Have a good one, and hey, if you want to follow these two projects as we go, as always, subscribe and come on along and see what we can do. See if we can get her going, get them all going. Take care. Hey, welcome back, everybody. I'm adding this on to another video that I showed you. Remember, I was looking at getting this crank, which is not in awful shape. What happened was it spun the bearing. Yeah, it looks awful. I got another one here. They're bad. Here's two sandwiched together. So it spun both bearings. Well, in the process, I did buy this one. Now, this is all before I knew some stuff. This is a 650, Kawasaki 650 motor. You can't, I was wanting to put the 750 heads, cylinders and heads on this. Will not fit. The hole here is different. You can do it if you get this machined, which I don't want to do. So I'm taking it back to the guy. He said I can bring it back and get my money back on that one. Well, I had this all apart. There's the clutches for it, and as you can see here, it's in pieces. I still could probably get my friend to do this crank. This is like an automotive crank. He can do those. The other crank I had for the Arctic Cat is a 3-piece crank. He cannot do those. So it was going to be expensive to try to get those going. To get this, I'll pull you over here. To get this crank, here's a 3-piece crank. It had a bad bearing in it. You can see how that's got a bad bearing in it. Because they got to press these out. And you see a pin right here. Well, it's a 3-piece. One, the pin, 3-piece crank. So they got to pull this apart, press it apart, put a new pin, put a new bearing and rod on it, and press it back together, and then make sure everything's lined up. You know, everything's perfectly lined up, and they got jigs for that. Well, the price for getting a new crank, a new rod put on this crank, I found a whole motor just put together with the crank in it. All I got to do is put all the pieces back on it for about $20 more. So why go through all this rigmarole when I'll just put that on there? And they're going to give me money for this crank. Sounds like a good deal to me. So waiting on that motor to come in, and this is going to be punched out. This is a 650, but this is going to be the motor I got coming is a 700. They interchange. So I'm going to make, and I got to get a new jug. I got to get a new piston. So this thing's going to a 700. All right, I was interrupted, so I'm trying to figure. So I'm figuring this. This is going to be a 700 now. Okay, so I'm waiting on those parts. I ordered all the parts, waiting on them to come, so I can put this thing back together and we can get her going. Now, with this, let's get back to this. I'm not going to do this right now. I could build this one, but something better that I found that's going to be a lot easier to get the Kawasaki going is, voila, a complete engine. Look at that. Runs everything. Got it for the same prices. I'm going to take those pieces back there. Cheaper than I can even get a crank and put it all back together. Now the problem is different is this is a fuel injection model. This is a 2010. Love to have it. But you see, people got some cut happy. I mean, they cut them all. So that wouldn't even be an issue. So I'm going to pull this whole cluster off. We'll put the carb on, and I'll show you that when we get there. But this thing seems to have good compression. Hopefully it runs good. It's only about 1,000 miles on it. So that should be fast. And as I say, that'll be coming up for our next project. And I have to pull it in here to keep going here. Now, I got this to put on. This came in. This is the rear brake for the foot brake that goes over down to here. So this goes out that way, around, and then goes back to that. I'm not sure exactly. I think it goes up here. So let me look in here. Oops, I'm going to bring you guys here. So I'm not sure which end goes where. So I'm going to have to look at it. But that's what I'm not. Now I'm just going to be putting that on there. Since I can't do nothing else here right now. I got some things to clean up, as you can see that. But it's going to be a while before I get all the parts. So I'm going to get this on here, get these brakes working. The brake pads are in pretty good shape, so I ain't going to worry about that. Somebody's done that not too long ago. So, all right, well, this one's probably going to be going long. This is what I'm up to, what we're up against here. So we have plenty of projects. Whoop, get my finger in the way. Plenty of projects to keep us going here. So I'll bring you along, guys. And if you like this, you want to see more, talking about a Kawasaki Brute Force 750. We're going to be putting the motor back into it. This motor right here. We're going to put this motor back together when all the parts come in there. I'll put it together on the bench, and then we'll set it in here. We'll get this thing going again, so we can get it going and get it broke in, ready to go. So, hey, if you guys want to come along with me, come along. Hey, let's put these all back together, and you can see how this all goes back together, and we can get these running. And subscribe so you can come along with me and follow me. I have plenty of other things too coming up. So I'll see you guys later, and you have a good one. Bye.